What happens at laser tag never stays at laser tag.
Laser Unfocused Tag Talk.
Laser Unfocused Tag Talk.
I feel like you could be like in Ghostbusters or something.
Oh my God, you have got some stories.
Let's talk about laser tag.
Who knew you were a laser tag legend?
Time to get laser unfocused. Tag Talk with Tivia.
Welcome to Laser Unfocused Tag Talk. Hi, I'm Tivia. Laser tag can open up lots of possibilities for travel, and my guest today has experienced many international adventures. She's a fellow podcaster, host of the MT Laser Game Community podcast from the Czech Republic, now a world traveler loving laser tag in Australia. I'd like to welcome my guest today. She is Lucie Dunovska, and she goes by the codename Lucidun, and she is a Laser Force player from the Czech Republic, but not joining me from the Czech Republic. You're in Australia now, correct?
Yes, in Brisbane, in the home of Laser Force.
Excellent. Well, I welcome you, Lucie. I'm glad that we have a moment to chat. I feel like I know you because we've communicated so much online, but this is our first chance to really talk to one another. And so I thought maybe we could just kind of start at the beginning of your journey and then like really get into your travel journey. But maybe we'll just start with, how did you get into laser tag? When did you get into laser tag, and what kind of brought you to the game?
Well, it was a funny story. It started 5 years ago when our friends texted us, hey, we're going to laser tag in the evening. Do you want to join us? And I was like, hell yeah, because laser tag is awesome, and I was there with my school a couple of years before, and since then I haven't played, so I was like, yes, let's go. And it started to be a weekly thing, and on my third visit, I got myself a membership card, and basically a week after, I was asked if I can be like a mercenary for a league, for the Prestige League, which we ran on weekends. And I was like, hey guys, that I'm just level 3 with like 3 weeks of experience. And they're like, yeah, we just need a mercenary. So yeah, I was just thrown into it and basically started like this.
And that was all happening where you lived previously, or where you call maybe your home in the Czech Republic?
Pilsen, Czech Republic, the first Laser Force in Czech Republic.
Okay, excellent. Do you play any other forms of laser tag, or are you exclusively Laser Force?
Exclusively Laser Force, but I tried Laser Quest while I was on my practical experience in England. So,
okay. So you've really been all over the place, and recently you've had your chance to kind of widen your laser tag experiences and bring that to a place where you can experience things internationally. So I'd love to hear, how did you end up from the Czech Republic to having some time playing in England, and now you're in Australia? Tell me about your journey and how laser tag factored into it.
Well, laser's journey. This is going to be a long story, but I'll try to keep track with that. So I started playing laser tag back in May 2018. And since that, I got involved in my site, like creating art as well, because I'm a graphic designer and I study art. So the owner was like, hey, I would like you to grab some sprays with UV paint and help me decorate the site. So that was, I think it was summer 2019, maybe 2018 as well. So I helped him with like decorating the site. And after half a year, he was like, hey, if you want, I would like you to work here in your free time, because I need someone like to help me. So then I started working at the site, and yeah, I got involved in laser tag a bit more. And since then, I traveled to England because it was on Erasmus program, which is like for high school students when they can go for like 3 weeks to another country, experience, gain work experience as well, and then return back to their home to like put the experience into work. So I went to England. I think it was Portsmouth, and there was like a marine museum and they had tag inside. So I was like, yes, I need to try something else than Laser Force. Since that, I promised myself that I will never talk bad about Laser Force again, because it was totally something different. And I mean, I tagged someone, he was still back up. I tagged him for a fourth time, he was still back up. He tagged me once and I was done. So I was like, okay, it is what it is. Well, never mind. And this journey to the other side of the world, it all started with Guy Next Door, GND, Steven, from the resupply. Yeah. They found me via Twitter, now X. And I joined their Discord and I was like, hey, I'm from Czech Republic. Here is something like some info about me. And they were like, wow, it's so cool to have someone from like Europe here, since we don't have that much players in there. The only 2 or 3 people I know about is Marcus El Diablo from Germany, and then Morrigan and Small Max Small from England. So yeah, I was another representative of Europe, Czech Republic specifically, so the middle of the Europe. And they were like, hey, we would like you to have you in the podcast. So I was like, yes. So it took only a month when I was speaking for the first time in English for 3 hours and after midnight. Trust me, it was fun.
I heard the podcast. It was good.
Oh, yeah. And then I chatted with them for like another half an hour, even though it was like 3:30 in the morning. I was still full of energy. And yeah, this is how it all started with the resupply. Then I began to be their guest like every year after some major event happened. So the second time I spoke with them was after Space Marines tournament. This year it was also after Space Marines tournament and like before going to internationals. And I think it was last year that GND mentioned that there's gonna be the internationals in New Zealand in Auckland, and I was like, I want to go. It doesn't matter how far it is. It doesn't matter how much it costs. I want to go and like meet all the people and represent my country. And my parents were like, yeah, if you want to go, just go. So I organized everything. I bought the flight tickets. I was in contact with GND and others. And then my dad stepped into it and he was like, okay, so you'll be on the other side of the world. What's your next plan? I was like, well, stay in New Zealand, then go to Australia and then return. And I was like, okay, so how much it's gonna like take you? And I was like, around 2 months. And it's like, and then what? I was like, well, I don't have any plan. And I was like, there's a chance of like studying in Australia. You should try it. And that's what basically happened. I'm starting my studies today. It's Monday, 16th of October, and I'll be starting my 2.5 years journey in business marketing and communication.
That is awesome. Congratulations on that.
Thank you.
So how long have you actually been in Australia at this point?
About a month, let's say, without 5 days, so almost a month.
Okay. And have you played some laser tag while you've been there?
Oh, yes. Okay. I've played 3 league nights with the Brisbane Best, so 3 league nights of Space Marines. I also played a couple of standard games, and I got my job in there. So I'm officially a Laser Force employee now.
Well, very good. Congratulations on that also. And playing with Brisbane's best players, that is really something because, they are known for how they play their Laser Force. So you have had some laser tag experience at this point in Czech Republic, in England, in New Zealand, and now in Australia. So you've got a really unique vantage point because there aren't a whole lot of players that go around to all that many countries. So I would love to know what you're finding, like the differences between where you came from and what you're seeing now. How does laser tag differ in your point of view from all the experiences you've had?
Honestly, the main or the biggest difference between us, my home, and here in Australia or New Zealand is the resets. Because back home, we don't play with resets, and everyone keeps telling me, hey, Laser Force, it's known basically for the resets. But then we discovered that most of the players just play SM5, so Space Marines 5. And back home, we play all the other game modes. So I replied to that, well, Laser Force is known for the variety of the game modes.
Very true.
So yeah. So yeah, basically this is like the main, one of the main differences, resets and the variety of game modes, because most of the players are just focused on the SM5, and then the rules, because those were also like hard to put into the action since I knew them, but I haven't played with them before.
Okay. So did you have much of a competitive scene in the Czech Republic, or are you just stepping into the competition and maybe that's where some of the difference comes from?
We have our competitive scene, but not in SM5 because we play standard teams. Let's call it like this. Everyone's on level 1 with just the rapid fire and with -50 by shooting your own teammate. And we play with teams of three people, so 9 players at once, and it's basically just standard game.
Okay. And coming from a place where you've played a lot of variety, do you have a particular liking to a certain game format? And how does SM5 compare with what you've liked the most up to this point?
This is hard since I was the one who was teaching almost all of the Aucklanders how to play the different games. But if we compare the competitiveness in our normal competitive game, the standard one, and SM5, I would say that I love SM5 more, which is basically why I traveled the whole world to play it, because I got bored of the standard. It is basically the strategy. You need to have strategy. You need to think like critically while playing Space Marines, and basically not just stumble around and win by, I don't know, 100 points, which happens most of the time in our standard games. The fights are until the end, and let's say for like last 10 seconds, the two teams are constantly changing the first and second place, and yeah, it's basically who shoots first wins. And I got bored of this, so I was like, hey, I want to like play some proper game where you need to think, where someone has its like own role. So it's a team game, or it's a team game where everyone matters basically. And yeah, I like to play support, so I almost all the time play the resupply, or when they put me into commander, I'm able to survive until the end, which if you've seen the footage from Nets, you'll see.
Well, very good. I ask you about these differences because I remember at one point you sent me a screenshot of a scoreboard from one of your games in the Czech Republic, and it looked completely different from anything that I had ever seen. Not so much that the screen looked different, but just the way you had your partners broken out in this tournament. There were like 8 or 10 different teams on the screen or something like that. And it looked like you were playing in a completely different way than how many of us in the United States play. And
it was completely different thing because I wanted to go into this like when we will be deeper in this, but I'll just touch the surface.
Sure.
We have a group called MT, which means which translates as like Magor meaning like crazy person. So we do all the crazy stuff, including the hour-long games, 4-hour-long games, 2-hour-long games. We do such like crazy shenanigans, but I love it. So in this case, when we are talking about the scoreboard I sent you, it was mixed doubles tournament. So 1 girl, 1 boy. And I think there was like 15 doubles playing at once. And it was an hour-long game. And we call this the St. Martin's tournament because it's happening on 11th of November. We have also name days in Czech Republic, and the name day of Martin is on the 11th. So we do crazy stuff. And I mean, last season we were doing series of hour-long tournaments at almost all the sites, the Laser Force sites. And it was like individual format. It was fun. We also did like 4-hour relay, where we basically received 1 member card with the team. We logged the battle suit on and we played for 4 hours. While when one was done, he passed the battle suit to other player. And when they were done, it passed to another player. And this was basically repeating for 4 hours.
Let me just pause and make sure I understood that right. So you kept the battle suit active as it swapped between players?
Yeah, let's say there were like 5 logged on battle suits, 1 for each team. And the players were like rotating. When one came out with a suit, it passed the suit into another player and he went inside. Yes, this happened for 4 hours.
Oh my goodness. Well,
we also love to play 2-hour-long gladiator relay. So we basically put on continuous game of gladiator. And once you logged in, you have your time to play. Once you ran out of lives, you go out. You go in a queue and someone else will go inside. And this is basically what we do for 2 hours, and only your best result counts in. And this is basically how I got my individual goal back in February, because I went in, let's say 2.5 minutes before the end, and I managed to outscore the 2 other girls who are like in front of me. And I placed 4th in total and 1st in the women's category.
That is fantastic. I love the creativity that goes into this. I love anytime somebody's thinking outside the box. And I can tell that that is very much just part of your personality, thinking outside the box, doing something a little bit different, both from the artistic, creative side, and also how we first met in the first place, because you are actually the reason that Tag for a Cause has international participation. And for anybody who's not familiar with Tag for a Cause, that's something that I initiated on the Tivia chickloveslasertag.com website as a way to encourage people to donate to a good cause, use that as a catalyst to play laser tag, and then earn a little medal as a piece of swag as a thank you for supporting a great cause. And I think it was probably maybe 2 years ago that you approached me and said, how can we do this in the Czech Republic? And because you took that initiative and we're thinking outside the box, we got some international players to get involved. And so I thank you for that. And I'd love for you to tell me, kind of how that worked, because basically your players made donations to the cause that we had set up, and I sent you over a batch of medals and some special awards, and then you guys ran with that. So tell me how you got people on board from the other side of the world to be involved and to make Tag for a Cause something that had an international presence.
It's basically what I'm going through now again, because it's the time again where we want to do it. It's kind of hard now because of the distance and because of the communication, but we will join again this time. And it started back 2 years ago when you were a guest in the Resupply podcast, because I saw you there and I was like, hey, I want to donate by myself. If someone joins me, it's going to be awesome. So I pitched the idea for Martin. His code name is Triman, and Stuart. That's his code name. And they were like, yeah, why not? We want to join, it's for a good cause. And we play lasers almost all the time because we're muggers. So we want to help the good cause. And Martin was actually like, I had the idea before, starting with Czech charities and something smaller. But since the opportunity is here, let's try this. So yeah, I got some people. I think there were 6 of us, which is not a big number, but it's still good.
No, that was great.
Yeah. So then we got the things moving, and Czech Post is very Czech Post is very specific about delivering things, so it took a longer time. Plus the customs thing, because the customs were like, even though you provided us with all the papers, we're gonna stop it here until 14 days later, and we're gonna be able to send it to us. So I was like, oh, but
Your international shipping, you never know what's gonna happen, I guess.
Yeah, but it got here for the first time. It got here last year, even though it was supposed to be Christmas gift, but it was a little late Christmas gift, but everything was fine. We received them, and I was really grateful for Prague players to join as well, because for the first time it was mostly my side, my home side, so Pilsen side. And last year the Prague people joined in as well, and I was really grateful for that, because the MT community is not exclusive to one side, but it connects all the crazy people around Czech Laser Fall scene.
I feel like I could be a virtual mugger myself, because I am a crazy laser tag.
I was actually thinking about telling Triman to establish an international MT brand, and I'm working on it. So
so if you're a crazy laser tag person, join the club, basically.
Kinda.
Well, and what I love about the sport and just my experience, I know that I've recently been traveling, but not internationally. I've been completing a second round of laser tagging in all 50 states here in the United States. But what I find, thank you very much. What I find so often is it's really cool that no matter where you go, you have built-in friends in the community. And either people who you've just communicated with online that maybe you meet for the first time in person, or because people travel, just everywhere you go, you're never without somebody who loves the game too. And so here you are, you've made a pretty big leap. You went from the Czech Republic to Australia, but have you found your people again? Have you found a new arm of your laser tag community, and maybe more Magor crazy laser tag people in Australia as well?
I don't know about the crazy people yet, but I'm grateful that
We
that
say
the
that with
Australian.
love.
Oh yeah. Not in a bad way.
Right.
But yeah, the Australian SM5 members calls me like one of theirs, even though I have this on my shoulder. Yeah, so I'm pretty grateful that I was able to join them, and they like kind of accepted me in. The same goes to the Auckland crew. If they're watching, thank you again for accepting me in, because I was really grateful to play with you on some of the members' nights. And yeah, they treated me like one of their own, which I'm so grateful for.
Well, that is awesome. And I could tell that you fit right in Auckland, because I spoke with Team USA West and got kind of the update after the internationals. But I understand you got a special recognition at internationals. I wonder if you could tell me what you were honored with.
Oh no, I left it in the other room. But yes, I was awarded with the Sportsmanship Award. And I was really like, I wasn't expecting that, because, you know, first time nets, first time everything, first time rules, first time getting beaten very hard, like in the game. And I received that recognition for almost all of my Commander games, because I was able to fight literally until I got eliminated. Even though I was like without shots or getting low on lives, I was trying to fight until the very end, which involved like running around like a maggot, trying to like fight back, even though it was hard. And in my first Commander game, the survival slipped away from me around like 40 seconds. And in my fourth game, during all the week, it was like by just 14 seconds. So I got pretty close to it to survive. But after the game, when I went out, I was like, hey guys, good game, good job. And everyone was like, yes, good job. DK was reffing in one of the games, and he was like, hey, are you okay? And I was like, yeah, I'll be okay. Give me a second. And I was like, this was one of the best sportsmanship I've ever seen. I was like, okay, thank you. Just let me catch my breath. So yeah, that was basically why I got it. Plus, yeah, I was cheerful all the time. Even though, you know, you get eliminated as a medic, it's frustrating. So I went out, got my frustration together. I returned and was like, hey guys, yes, let's go. Everything is gonna be fine. I high-fived people. I was chatting with them. It was an experience. So that's basically why I got the Sportsmanship Award.
Well, that is awesome. I think you played on a team with somebody I know, one of my friends, Greg RNT. You were on his team, right? Because I think that's how I first found out that you got that. He mentioned you, and I said, oh, that's my girl Lucie. So congratulations for that.
Thank you.
And that segues into something I love to hear about, which is just cool stories of things you've experienced. And I'd love to know, what is the most unbelievable thing that happened either at that tournament or some other tournament that you've been in? What crazy stories come to mind just from things that you've experienced? It doesn't have to be a tournament. I mean, any game is fine.
There are like many crazy stories in the Czech community.
Okay.
Basically because we're the Magors. So, for example, we go on an MT tour, which involves like 3 days of a week, basically just going around and playing tag. It's similar to your Armageddon, but most of the time we do it just with the Laser Force. And It's not a tournament. It's just like going around side and having fun with the people, spending time together. Or we do 1 day trips, which they did last Friday for the Friday the 13th achievement. And they went to Czech sides, they went to Germany as well to get the achievement. And I think it was this January where we went to all Czech Laser Force sites in one day to get the Friday the 13th achievement. So we can consider this crazy, if you like.
That is really cool. I would love to do something like that. And I'm curious. I don't really have perspective on how large the Czech Republic is. So tell me, how many sites are there that you went to, and how close are they to one another?
So there are currently 8 sites in Czech Republic, like 8 official sites. There's one there's one more, but we call it like tourist attraction since it's like included in a big toy house, to be honest.
Oh, okay. I know what you mean.
I won't go into that, but yeah, it is what it is. And Czech Republic is kind of a small country. Even though we have 10 million like citizens, we're a really small country. So let's say Pilsen is here. Here is Prague. So it's an hour and a long drive to Prague. Here is Liberec, which is another hour and a long drive. Near Prague, 10 minutes from Prague, is another site, which we nicknamed Unicorn, because it's hard to pronounce the original name. If we stay in Pilsen and go a bit back, we go to Fantasy Laser Game in Karlovy Vary, which is like hour and a half again. And some of the Prague sites has more like mazes inside. So in Prague, we have 4 of them. And I also forgot about Stardoms, which is another hour and a half from Pilsen. So everything is pretty close, and you're able to do it in one day.
Okay. What you're describing sounds a lot like when I go to a random state and I just say, okay, I'm going to map out what is within a quote unquote sensible distance to drive. And so if everything's an hour and a half away, you sure can hit a lot of things. And so that's very cool.
Yeah.
So that's a great example of something kind of cool that you guys do. Any other stories like that, or any interesting things come to mind?
If we go into my personal crazy story, that was definitely the Color Conquest, which I played back with the kids, because we used to run a kids club, like kids afternoon. And I was once playing Color Conquest with them. It's back in the days when we had G7s. We now have G8s. And I was trying to get my Never Conquered achievement. And I was fighting, even though the kids stick back around you like a magnet and they were like following you everywhere. I was like, okay, let's do it. And I almost got it, but I was conquered 46 seconds before the end. But once I came back into the armory, everyone was like, yeah. And I was like, wait, did I have it? And Trimon came to me. He grabbed me on the shoulder and he was like, no, but we were all cheering from you.
Oh.
So this is when the legend called 46 seconds came into play. And every time someone mentions 46 seconds, I respond to that.
Oh.
And following this legend got actually upgraded, because like 2 years after this, we were playing at our like regular members night, and I managed to survive until the end, but the achievements were turned off.
Oh goodness.
So yeah.
So close.
Color Conquest
so close
is my doom.
Well, okay. So there's your whale to go after. That's your big thing. Do you have any similar goals in any other game formats?
Learn how to play all the roles properly in SM5, especially Scout, because I hate to play Scout.
Okay.
And like gather all the achievements, because I'm an achievement hunter in almost everything, not just in laser tag, but in games. And I like to gamify my everyday life as well. So when I go somewhere, it's like, hey, achievement get, I was at the Laser Force HQ. Or when I slayed the Jade Serpent inside the Brisbane mess, I was like, oh yeah, achievement check, Brisbane Jade Serpent slayed. Or when I got the job, hey, achievement get, I got the job at Laser Force. So yeah.
You've been to a lot of arenas. I would love to know, what was the coolest laser tag arena you've ever been to, and what made it like that?
Oh, this is gonna be hard, because each of the arena has its charm, I would say, or its magic. And each arena has its own like commemorative sign. For example, when I was in Switzerland, I was there for like, let's say 3 days of learning for kind of a thing, not involving laser tag. But on the third day, there was like rainy weather and everything was canceled. And I was like, hey guys, there's a laser force maze near the hotel where we live. It's like 30 minutes from the hotel. Do you think we would be able to go there? And they're like, we don't have any other like program. Let's go in there. So it was pretty funny. And I'm thankful that I'm carrying my membership card every time I go anywhere. And I was like, hey, I would like you to play with me. So we stepped inside and I would compare the size of the maze to Brisbane. It's not that big, but a bit smaller than Brisbane. But yeah, you know, the floorings and yeah. And as I look upstairs, there was a big plane with a warbot inside, and the plane was real. And I was like, oh my God, this is the coolest thing that I ever saw. And also the variety of the obstacles, plus, you know, beacons, and what else was there? The bases. I really loved that maze. Shame the game was pretty pricey. I think I paid like 30 Switzer currency. I don't know how to translate it. But yeah, around 30 of their currency, which is like pretty expensive. But in return, I got to speak with the owner, and I was like, hey, I'm from this country. I represent the resupply community. And he took us around the whole facility, which involved like going to escape rooms, going to the indoor mini golf, and he was pretty chatty. So that's another crazy story to add.
And that makes me wonder about something. Do you remember the name of that facility?
It was Action World in Zurich in Switzerland.
Okay. I ask that because I have a friend who mentioned an arena that has a Russian plane in the middle of the arena, and I'm wondering if you played at the same spot.
Yeah.
The laser tag convention. So have to check and see if that's the same arena, but very cool.
Yeah, and I also like the themed arenas. So, for example, the Stardoms are themed after the Star Wars. Unicorn, they have like jungle arena or jungle/space arena, I would say. They're building another maze downstairs as well. So they have 2 mazes soon. The Prague ones are also like divided by the theme. So one is like underwater theme and like old Prague. The other side is themed to spaceship and jungle. Like almost all the arenas have their own theme, besides our Pilsen, where I divided the arena into 4 parts, and each of the part, depending on the color of the base, has its own theme. So let's say there's a jungle part, there's kind of Among Us part, there's like future part, and arcade part. I literally drew Space Invaders, the pixel one, in there. So
Well, very cool. I love to go to different arenas and just kind of check out the different theming. I'm big on unique themes and things that make an arena stand out. And it sounds like you're kind of getting that same thing out of seeing all these different places. And you mentioned Switzerland too. So you've played several countries. Have you been keeping track of how many?
I'm first Czech player to have the 5 country achievements. So
nice. Congratulations.
Thank you.
I don't have that.
I
need to start playing some other countries.
Yeah, Czech Republic, Germany, Switzerland, Australia, and New Zealand.
That's terrific. Do you know how many arenas you have played in total? Are you keeping track at all?
19, because when we were playing in New Zealand, one of the sites wasn't connected to I Play Laser Force, and it would have been my 20th. So I'm like, oh, damn it.
Yeah, I find that sometimes you play more sites than you can actually check off on the site, but nonetheless, very cool.
Yeah, also speaking on the artistic thing, I was also able to decorate the Auckland maze. It was
Really?
kind of a silly, it was kind of a silly idea from the community. I mean, I think Stallion was first to mention that when I told the community that I'll be coming to New Zealand, and Stallion was like, hey, we should save you a part of the maze where you will paint it, and we will call that the Lucie part. Well, it ended up a bit differently because I was able to decorate the upstairs, which they call the nest. Downstairs part, which is now going to be called the lab because I designed it to be kind of a lab. The downstairs under the tower is now going to be called the prison, since I got the theme again. And I also decorated a big wall of Space Marines. So that's kind of Space Marines group shot. I'm sure you've seen that.
Well, it is very cool to hear that you're behind that, and that's awesome. So
yeah, and I'm really grateful for that because again, Andre and Ruan, the owners of the Auckland Maze, are really friendly, and they were like, hey, we will really be like appreciative if you can help us. And I was counting with that, so that's why I basically hadn't planned anything else than being closed in the maze for the 3 weeks, or how many weeks was I was there. So yeah, I helped to decorate the Auckland Maze. I helped to name the new areas, or new areas. I helped to give them new names, which I believe BC told me that they're using it. So for example, he is in the prison, come into prison. So yeah, I'm really grateful for that, and grateful for leaving my mark on the other side of the world, literally.
that is really cool, and that's something that you've got like a little piece of history in that arena. And have you ever had thoughts of being an arena designer? I know you said
Oh,
you're going to school for
yes.
business, but is that like the end game goal? That's something you really would like to do?
It's kind of a dream of mine. We'll see how life involves or evolves. But I would like to do this, travel around the world and help to decorate mazes or design an arenas. Yeah, it's kind of a dream of mine.
Well, very good. Well, I was going to ask you about, the most interesting thing that's happened in an arena, but for you, it sounds like the painting of the walls might be it. Anything else come to
Yeah.
mind?
Besides the 46 seconds, I have a story from this year's Nets.
Okay.
It was actually the last game of ours and the only game that we won. I think it was day 4, if anyone wants to go and watch it on the YouTube, because we have all the footage on YouTube. So you can basically watch all the nets in there. And I was playing medic in the last game, and I looked at my gun, and I had only 1 life left. And I was like, hey guys, if nuke's gonna be falling, I need you to be here because I need to resupply you. Just as I said that, the nuke started falling.
Oh.
Everyone was around, so I was like, the only person who I wasn't able to resupply because he ran in late was Lonzo. But before I got eliminated, I resupplied everyone. And I think Than was the one who mentioned it. Thanks to that, my team survived and won the game.
You jokingly said that it's almost like you and I have telepathy between us, because the next thing I was going to ask you was, do you have any stories of something that couldn't happen again if we tried? It sounds like that was exactly it.
So yeah, this could be one of the stories. The second story could be as I was playing Commander, and I really wanted to play Commander against GND, so I wanted to cause small trouble to him. Mm-hmm. So we were not chasing, but we were looking for each other behind one wall. And as he was coming in, I took a walk around and missiled him. Mm-hmm. as he shot me. So I was able to missile him. He shot me, and we were like, "Oh no, you don't!" And in the same game, I also tricked Morange into kind of a same thing. So I showed myself. Then he started to go behind me, but I was able to overrun him, and I missiled him in the back. And I was like, "Oh, nice, Lucie!" So yeah.
Well, I think I've got to go back and watch some of those videos because it sounds like there were a lot of great stories throughout that whole tournament,
Oh yeah.
and definitely you could tell a lot of great friendships and meeting people from all over the world. I'm sure is pretty cool for everybody who's involved there. And were there any like bonding moments or things? I know some of the players did some activities on the side. So like, did you have a chance to really kind of bond with the different communities through anything special?
Uh, while we were playing Nets, I was kind of try to chat with people,
Mm-hmm.
but it was kind of hard because Nets. Each team wants to be like with their members, and hey, not right now. It's the competition, but right now after the Nets ended, it was like this, and everyone was friendly. Everyone was like, hey, can we hang out? So basically all the post-net shenanigans trip we did after that, which I'm sure DK mentioned as well, but to remind all the people who hadn't heard the podcast with DK, we went to Hobbiton, we went to Rotorua, where we stayed for 3 days, and we did all sorts of activities, including disc golf, going through the tree walk at Redwoods, going to Hell's Gate Experience, which was like high steam and high water and some things about that. We also did luge, which is like having a tricycle and going down the hill. We went to the Maori Mitai, which was that actually was like pretty big bonding moment for me, since BC Guy Next Door has some Maori heritage, and he was chosen as our representative, as our chief, and wow, what a night. It was very like bonding for all of us, and he called us the Laser Force Whānau, which means Laser Force family. And since then I'm always presenting myself. Yes, I'm Lucie, member of the Laser Force Whānau, led by the Chief Steve.
I love that. So shout out to Chief Steve.
Yeah. So yeah, basically the New Zealand shenanigans, I wasn't expecting it will go like that good, because I was kind of afraid of some of the people being like, hey, we don't know you, you're young, you're from the other side of the world, you're from a country which we hadn't heard about. It's somewhere in Europe, but everyone was pretty cool and like, hey, would you like to join us? Even like when we were on the whitewater rafting, everyone was like pretty chilled. We shared the memories, and yeah, it's lifelong experience, to be honest.
That's awesome. I know for some people, the thing that brings them to laser tag is the friendships and the social aspect. And for some people, it's the competition, and some people just want to get out and have something to do. What is it that for you really is the heart of why you want to play laser tag?
Friendships. I'm definitely a people person, and honestly, the thing I was looking the most for before like traveling here was meeting all the people in person, especially Chief Steve and DK, because these were the two people who I constantly saw every Sunday at 3 a.m. because of the time zones. And yeah, my dedication to get up almost every Saturday at 3 a.m. to watch them live, then fall asleep and then wake up right before the end. Yeah.
Well, very cool. And I'm delighted to hear that it went so well and that you've got these friends now all over the world. And any other takeaways as far as what laser tag has done for you in your life that continues to make it so important?
Honestly, laser tag turned my life over, because when I started to get involved in laser tag, I was like, okay, so it's gonna be another, I call it sport, because I think laser tag is sport. So it's going to be like another one of my activities or sports, because I played softball for 6 years before. And then I got involved in like the artist. Then I got involved like the one who runs all the plays by themselves, because our sites are small. We only have like around 15, let's say 12 to 15 battle suits. And thanks to being it small, one person can actually run all the facilities. So, you get to get involved in like customer service or doing the cash, doing the drinks, being the marshal, explaining the rules. Yeah, it was sometimes hard to deal with, especially on my first work day, where they haven't told me that I will be having 3 children birthday parties at once. So that was kind of my trial by fire, but I made it. So yeah, from that, I expanded kind of to be like a helping hand for other sites as well, especially for stardoms, because we did kind of a first testing on 30th of December, 3 years ago, I think. Yes, 3 years ago. So I helped them to set all the settings for the first testing game. And then I got involved in the international community. So I was like the one who can speak for our country, which I'm really grateful for. Then some people kind of joined in as well, as Tomik. He's the owner of the Unicorn site. He was recently guest on the SM5 channel, speaking about laser ball, because it's a boom right in Czech Republic. And yeah, now I'm here representing the resupply community, the anti community, the Czech community. So yeah, laser tag changed my life, because not having laser tag in my life, I wouldn't be sitting here and speaking to you.
That's right. From 14 hours away. It's very cool to be speaking to one another. And I'm so glad you were able to join me and share some stories. And I know you know that I like to wrap things up with some rapid fire tag talk. So you ready for some quick questions? All right. I think I know the answer, but favorite laser tag system of all time?
Laser Force.
All right. Zeroing in on that, favorite game format?
Oh, I would go with the SM5.
Okay. Favorite arena ever?
Oh, that is a tricky one. Yeah, I will say Brisbane. Even though it's hard to learn, I would say now Brisbane, because it has all the things inside, such as the Jade Serpent, the bases, all the beacons, all the new stuff. So yeah, I will say Brisbane for now.
Okay, they're really tricked out with everything, it sounds like.
Yeah.
All right. Coolest person that you've met through laser tag?
GND.
All right. Coolest place you've gotten to visit because of laser tag?
New Zealand.
Favorite prize or souvenir you've taken away?
My jersey from Nets with my Czech flag.
Very nice. Represent. Favorite snack at the concession stand, if they have one?
That's a tricky one. Because most of the time in Czech Republic, we just have drinks. So I would say the Czech brand of cola, which is called Kofola.
Okay, good answer. And favorite brand of We Never Run in the Arena shoes?
That's hard, but I would say my barefoot shoes. This is actually shoes. I play with them. It's called Skinners. So yeah, barefoot shoes, even though they look like socks.
Okay. I was ready for a brand I'd never heard of, but and you did that. So very good. All right. And any final thoughts or anything you'd like to share?
Thank you for inviting me. It's truly an honor to represent MT community, Czech community, Laser Force community, to represent my country, and finally being able to speak with you. I'm so grateful for the chance, and thank you for communicating with me and doing all the stuff around your charity. I really appreciate it.
Well, thank you. I appreciate you for that.
And big shout out to GND again for organizing all the net stuff. It's really something that I will remember for my whole life. And thanks to the Brisbane guys for accepting me in.
Well, that's terrific. And I thank you so much again for being here. That is my guest, Lucidun Dunovska. And I appreciate you giving me that international perspective. So thanks so much, Lucie.
Thank you.
Thanks for checking out this episode of Laser Unfocused Tag Talk. Listen for more episodes on the first and third Friday of each month. Want to be a guest on an upcoming episode? Find out more and follow my blog and website at TiviaChickLovesLaserTag.com.